Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, a rare bird and a desirable one from FP Journe. This is the Chronometre Souverain Black Label. Now, Black Label is something different. Black dials with platinum cases, an exclusive combination available only to those who buy through FP Journe boutiques and espaces, and that's pretty much their only retail these days. And in addition, they must previously have purchased new FP Journe watches, not necessarily just one either. I hear the street value to qualify for Black Label these days, that's just to have permission to buy the watch. You have to spend somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000, and then you can buy the Black Label watch. So what do we have here? We have one you can buy right now. Also worth mentioning, only a certain number of any given model can be made Black Label per year. Taking a look at this watch, this is the watch fundamentally that won the GPHG Men's Watch Prize back in 2005, so it is an award winner. 40 millimeters in diameter, made of platinum. You can see in profile, 8.7 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 48.1 with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The watch is sizable and it is hefty. It's not a big dress watch, but it feels massive with a sterling silver blackened dial, a platinum case, and a solid gold movement. You really do feel it. On the wrist, it's impressive. You can see it's also very flat. It'll slide easily under a dress cuff. Journe lugs, fortunately, are highly curved, which does mitigate fit issues. So I could recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, maybe even 14 if your wrist is very flat across the top. And yes, it will easily fit underneath a cuff. The strap, well, it's a contemporary Journe strap. You can see medium rectangular scale alligator leather. It has a semi-gloss finish. It has a folded edge, a monotone stitch on the bottom, small round scale alligator. Gator on both sides is more expensive, but it lasts longer. That's the upshot to buying a double gator strap. Calfskin tends to wear out on the bottom of strap. Gator is much tougher. No crimping, no gouging. This is a brand new FP Journe factory strap. Pull tab spring bars are used, so you can pop the strap off the case without tools, and Journe likes to drill his lugs close to the case to move the pivot centers inboard and make for better small wrist fit. And in order to be able to move the strap over a full degree of motion, a curved spring bar is used. Here we have a pin buckle in platinum to match the watch itself, and it has what's called an elevated bridge, where the sides are actually a little bit lower than the bridge at the top, so the strap sits in the buckle rather than stacking up underneath it. Rolling around, this is a familiar case. The domed bezel and domed case back are pretty much mirrors of each other, and their flanges define the mid case. Everything is blended lug profile, and the lugs then turn down 90 degrees from the horizontal of the case band. We have Journe's famous unsigned but oh so recognizable double dimple knurled crown, and then a dial that is blackened, yes, but the dial is made of sterling silver. You can see the hands and then the registers. So we've got a small second with a little loop-style counterweight. Journe's distinctive hand profiles for the hours, minutes, and power reserve indicator. Now this is a marine chronometer-style power reserve, which means when fully wound, it indicates 0, as in 0 hours since being fully wound. That's because marine chronometers, or navigation clocks on ships historically, would have to be wound exactly 24 hours apart every single time. So you didn't need to know how much longer it would run until it stops. You needed to know how many hours since the last winding, so you could wind it exactly at 24 hours elapsed. You can see there's a clou de Paris at center, a chemin de fer outboard, which is a railroad track style minutes, and we have that in miniature for the seconds. Also Journe's unique typeface, unless you forget he invented and made it. Case back, well, this is one of the early Black Label pieces. You could tell because it's got the French double eagle hallmark and the Eleanor maker's mark. Black Label was started up around 2008, and it was around mid-2008 that Journe phased out the French-made cases. So to have a Black Label watch that's also a French-made case, that's a bit of a rarity. Good-looking movement. You can see architecture often comes first with Journe. Aesthetics are very important to him, so while the finish is workmanlike and effective, price appropriate but not extravagant, the actual architecture is gorgeous. Look at this island over here with the crown wheel and then the twin barrels, and then there's this gap between them, and no visible transmission of energy from the barrels to the escapement. So that's pretty impressive because the drivetrain is hidden under the dial. That allows us to enjoy this large rayon-style finish in the gulf between the barrels, which have the energy, and the escapement, which uses it. Now you can see we also have engine turning on the base plate, the perlage. We have beveling, machined but handsome on the bridges. You can also see that we have polished screw heads and locating pegs here, that are used to help locate bridges on underlying structures like the base plate. Those feature polished tops. And then we have stripes in linear fashion across the bridges with satination on the barrel covers. Now it's a 56-hour power reserve, a 3 Hz beat rate, a 6-position adjustment, one more than a standard chronometer, 22 joules. This is caliber 1304. So 13 is the size in French lean, and 04 is the year work started on the movement. This is a 3 Hz free sprung balance. So the free sprung means, well, it's easy to adjust precisely, but also it's very shock tolerant. And what it lacks in absolute beat rate, it makes up for with exceptionally large inertia. It is a big balance. All of this is water resistant down to 30 meters, so don't swim with it, but you should be fine if you splash it while washing your hands or if you get caught out in the rain. A deeply impressive and desirable example of Journe watchmaking. In my mind, a Black Label CS is infinitely more desirable than a Chronometre Bleu, rivaled only by the Chronometre Holland and Holland. A super appealing watch that offers so much to the collector, whether you're a Journe themed collector with a large collection of FP Journe watches, or you just want one really iconic piece. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.